Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Thursday, January 4th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. It is week 1 of 2024. No, Siri, I don't want you. And in my neck of the woods, it is currently 31 degrees, with a high of 40 and a low of 28. Gesundheit, Vicky. Welcome to my broadcast. I'm here for the next 3 hours for coloring, companionship, chat, friendship, giggles and laughs, conversation. We have fun. Welcome to my YouTube peeps who come in and chat with me. That's always fun. Welcome to my YouTube peeps who watch this broadcast after the fact when it goes to video. And welcome to my Facebook peeps who will see this video when I download it to my group, Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. All right. I hope everybody's having a decent day. And by the way, I really appreciate everybody. I hope that you are getting good information from my broadcast. Seeing some pretty pictures. It's fun. All right. Let me do one thing here, get my second video source set up. I'll show you my colorings in a moment. And what I'll be working on. Okay. So, we've got our Zentangle parrot that I'm working on. I'm showing you some different ways to color that. I'm doing my last section here in gold. And as you can see, I went through after my broadcast and I colored the entire background black. I just thought that would look neat. Just to give you some ideas for this. Then I'm working on our little gnome lady. This is 50 Lovely Gnomes. And this is by Camellia Angelkova. I'm almost done. I just got these items to do in the upper right-hand corner. And then my new project, I'm going to be doing this in marker, alcohol marker, and pencil. And this is from Anime Coloring Book by Jade Summer. And I particularly want to show you how I'm going to be, the dress, of course, will be looking really cool. And our captain's or general or whatever this is, outfit. Okay, now I do 2 projects, but the only reason that I'm showing you these 2 is because I'll be done with this shortly, and of course I need to have my second one ready to go and on tap. All right. So let me get my paper towel here. I always use a paper towel underneath my hand. It's great for coloring so that when we're sliding around, it minimizes smudge. You're still going to get a little bit of smudge. You might have to do some cleanup every once in a while. But it works well. All right. So let me get my little scratch sheet here. I hope everybody is doing okay. Now, again, I'm working on golds in this brown area. And at the moment, we need to go through and put our dimension in. So that's what I'm doing on these images, these decorations. Just have to move camera just a little bit. We'll get there, I promise. Okay, there we go. Now, I wanted to give you a different way of looking at Zentangle. Excuse me, one more well, not one more, but a camera adjustment here. And guys, if you're new to coming in, please don't hesitate to say hello. Even though I'm demonstrating coloring techniques, I decided to do it live. And that way, if people had questions, they can ask. Or just come in to say hello. And if you don't color, come in for the companionship. I actually get more viewers after the fact, which is fine. But rather than color and just make a simple video out of it, I thought it would be really great to be accessible every night. And then you can come in and say hello. All right, so notice now that I'm adding my shading and my shadowing. The shading is on the line itself. The shadowing is when we've got that little extra color outside of that darker line. And that starts to give us dimension. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on this edge here down the side. Now, of course, I'm going to be doing with this more on the brown because I'm doing more of a gold motif. But right now I'm right on top of this line here, this narrow line. Now I'm going to go through here, and we have our segments of triangles. And notice how adding this darker line gives our pieces dimension. And I'll pull out in a minute so you can see it. Now, if you don't adult color, just come in and enjoy the pretty pictures. It makes for good company. Okay, so let me pull out. And you can see how cool this dimension's looking. Okay. Now I'm going to move up here at the top, and I'm going to add our darker color here. And you can start to see the dimension that's going to pop out of it. Now, the main thing that I want you to know about Zentangle is you don't have to treat it like you have to color every single little object on it. So notice how I'm doing the shading right here. And how that's generating the detail. Crystal, where have you been? Oh my gosh. I'm working on the coloring book that's got the gems and crystals and stuff on it. Happy New Year, sweetie. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to one and all, says Maggie. Okay, Maggie, so you're going to eat? Well, Crystal, just as long as you're okay. You're good. New year, new thinking. Okay. Crystal, don't let other people cage you. Okay, check out the shading here. Okay, let me pull out. Check it out. Let me change my camera just a little bit. And check out the shading now. On the brown. Oh, this looks like your parrot. Well, that's cool. So, Crystal, can you find a way to be more active and coming in when I broadcast? What's your parrot's name, Crystal? Oh, I see. Unfortunately, it starts at 9 p.m. your time and finishes at midnight. Oh. Now I understand. I gotcha. That makes sense. Well, there's always the replay. And you're up at 4 a.m. Oh, Jade. How long have you had your parrot? Okay. Notice now how I've got my browns working here? 8 months. Ah. Okay, let's get this leaf taken care of. She's a conure, C-O-N-U-R-E. Yep. I've heard of it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start shadowing our lines. And this will start to delineate our piece. Yeah, parrots live a long time too. And they're very needy. Well, there's a lot of satisfaction in taking care of an animal. So where did you get Jade? Breeder? She's with me all day out of the cage. No, you got her at the pet store, but they got her from a breeder, and I got her the day she came in. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to make this darker here to have it look recessed. If you don't mind me asking, what did you pay for her? I understand that parrots can be a little pricey. Have you owned parrots before? Yeah, 300? Yeah. Okay, so check out how I'm making this shaded in. It was the cage and everything else that cost so much. Yep. And no, you have a budgie though. Oh, yeah. I've got a coloring book about birds, by the way, with a budgie on the front. I think you ended up picking that up, didn't you? Oh, excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to add some shadow to this. Okay, now Payne's Gray. I'm going to add some shadow around there just to give it some depth. No, I tried and couldn't pay for it, but was going to send an Amazon card as payment, and then Christmas and everything came along. I think the payment method was a problem and couldn't pay for it. Okay, just a little bit of gray. Yeah, Maggie had a budgie. Yep, Blue had a huge vocabulary. Yeah, and had to use a clip because he could slide out. Maggie, I remember you saying how clever Blue was. Come on. I need to use a tissue, sorry. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let me pull out. Oh, he liked to play on the floor with your daughter's Legos. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to come in with some yellow. With the brown. And we are very close to finishing this. Oh, Missy, hi. Oh, Missy, don't apologize. I hope you feel better. Missy, sit back, relax, and watch. Yeah, don't color when you're not feeling well. That is the worst time to do it. Well, I take that back. Sometimes, even if you're not feeling it, it depends. If coloring lifts your spirits, maybe that is some time to do it, but listen to what your body's telling you. Okay, now I'm emphasizing some of these shapes with my yellow. Oh, you overdid yesterday? Oh, you didn't go outside. Okay. Okay, check out the yellow highlighting. And then I'm going to highlight on my triangles here. Hi, Brittany. Am I ever going to write some adult coloring technique books with 3 to 4 different examples of how each technique is used in different situations? Hadn't really thought about that. Mainly because, Brittany, I'm coloring live and people can ask questions. And there are a lot of good books out there. Okay, let me pull out here. I am so close to finishing this. Check it out. Now, as you can see, I added the black background. And that is looking pretty cool. And I'm going to add just a little bit more green here, my light green. Hello, Linda. Okay, light green to blend. My problem is finding the 3 to 4 different examples of how each different coloring technique is used in different occult coloring books or adult coloring PDF printed out, at least written down for you. Ah. Brittany, do you have a printer? Okay, I have one more segment here. Brittany, coloring techniques are specific to the page that you're coloring. And so the best way to learn really is to watch channels such as this one, my broadcasts, other broadcasts. To get your ideas. Okay, I'm just blending and smoothing this out. Does that make sense? Okay, inkjet shouldn't be a problem. I have an inkjet. Okay, so I've got this yellow. Yeah, I'm almost done with this CV. Okay, so like I said, here's where we are so far. Coloring View, good to see ya. AKA CV. Let's see if I can get this shine off of it on the left. Yeah, that lets you see it. Here. There you go. All right. Let's do our last yellow area and then I can call this one done. And that means I'll have a new duet tomorrow. And that'll be cool. All right, I want to color in one little area here, my brown. And balance this a little better. So I've got this area filled in right here by the leaf. I'm going to color in this area around the ovals. It's Nina paper. $1.10. So Missy, you're going to do the Chihuahua picture. Brittany, no, it was not a black paper. What I did was I took a black Sharpie marker and I colored in the background. I'm sorry, I was off camera. So what I did after I signed out last night is I went through and colored in my background. There's really no way to print on black paper. Okay. Now you can see that we're balanced better here. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, Coloring Bliss has found a way to print on black paper with her own company. Neat. I wasn't aware. Okay, I'm going to bring my shading down just a little bit. Yeah, there you go, Crystal. Just use a Sharpie marker. Now, I must tell you, now, Crystal, if you get any streaks from your Sharpie marker, which does happen, then what you need to do is take a black pencil and smooth out any irregularities. It's a little annoying to have to do that, but it works. It works. Okay. Yeah, streaks. Oh, so Brittany, there's a printer that costs too much money that comes with white ink or toner. Oh, and can print on black paper. Cool. Thanks for sharing that information. Missy, the white pencil and pen. The white pencil for highlighting. The white pen for adding white accents on the image that you're coloring. $3,000 for that printer. Ooh. Okay. My brown is a little darker towards the center, lighter as we get to the outside. You'd have to check with Office Depot and see if they have that printer that they could do the white ink on black. Okay, again, check out the darker brown towards the center. And then I'm going to come in with not that one. A darker brown yet on this base. Right near the bottom here. And notice how I'm bumping into the camera. Notice how I'm making this into basically a badge. And then our lighter brown. Check it out. Okay, darker brown. Near the bottom. And then I'm going to take a nice dark orange. And highlight the rest of these edges. Along with a little shading at the base. So there's a website that tells you how to use ghost white toner with toner printer that print out in black ink by replacing the black toner with a comparable ghost white toner. Ah. And then I'm going to go through and because we have an orange background here, I'll color these circles in orange. Not too bad. All right, let me pull out. There we go. And except for a little bit of tweaking here and there, I'm calling this one done. The only other thing that's bugging me a little bit, excuse me while I move my camera, is I think I'm going to go with a little bit of gray around the eye on the outside. That area of white sticking out was not looking cohesive to me. Just make sure that you blend in your gray. And I'm liking that a lot better. I'm just going to put a touch of white on the eyeball itself. And then around this outside here. Remember, Maggie, you used dark blue Sharpie on your background. Your black ran out. Oh no. Did it run out while you were putting it on, or did you just didn't have black Sharpie? Blue would look really good. Oh, guys, I'm calling this done. Any questions? I really hope that me doing this removes any concern about doing Zentangle. Oh, you ran out last week and just haven't replaced. Okay, so in other words, it wasn't like you started it in black, Moggy, and then had to go over to blue because it ran out. I think this is looking really good. Okay, guys. Calling this one done. I'll spray this after I finish my broadcast. So this means that we'll have a new duet tomorrow. That'll be pretty cool. All right. What do I spray it with? I spray it with Krylon Workable Fix Stiff number 1306. It's a nice matte spray. Protects pencil, pastel, and chalk drawings. Prevents smudging and wrinkling. Allows the easy rework. Acid-free, archival safe. I've used this stuff for years. Okay. Any other questions? You are most welcome, Missy. Okay, so I'm using browns and yellows to do whatever these things are. And I wanted to use colors that wouldn't interfere with what we're doing, everything below the strawberries, the grapes, the dress. And by using the orange, it keeps us connected with the browns that I use for the hair. So it works out beautifully. Now notice how I'm taking the browns up where the dots are. Remember, when you're coloring a piece, the most important part of the page is what? The part you're working on. So I'm not going to blow off these little nodule thingies and color them just to get them done. See how I'm adding my swing here of the line? And then blending it in. And then I've got a light brown over here, orangey brown. So that advice helped you so much. The part you're working on is the most important. Yeah. I'm not going to ruin the rest of this page by just slapping on colors to these little nodule thingies. Okay, and I think I'm going to go with brown here. On the stem and on the very top. All right, I've got two more of these, so I'm just going to go ahead and do those. Again, take your time. Okay. So let's go back to our other nodules here. And I'm not going to make each one exactly the same. Camera movement here. The first one, I had a light yellow base. This next one, I'm going to work in oranges and browns. Remember, work your little circles when you have areas like this. And again, if you've put in the black background like I did, I don't know how many of you have this particular piece, but take care around your black edges. All right, let me sharpen here. Guys, what are you coloring tonight while you're watching me? Again, I know some of you are just watching. Missy, you're working on the Chihuahua tonight? You feel up to it? Okay, I'm bringing in a brownish red. Linda, you're crocheting? Yep. Crystal, a girl and fish picture from a book by Gudrun Hall. Check out our brownish red. So tell me something, guys. Why do you enjoy coloring while I'm broadcasting? Now notice that I'm adding a couple of dark lines because I want to add flaw to that piece. Finger blend. Crystal, you're trying out your chroma flows that hubby got you for Christmas. So Crystal, the great company, I'm a recluse, and this is your social time. Okay. Glad to have you. So you like it, Missy, because you love the coloring. You love coloring as a group and ask questions and share ideas. Exactly. Hey, Crystal, I'm there with you. I get all my groceries delivered. There's just me, myself, and I. I don't have any family to speak of. And this is great time for me. And I'm your teacher. Okay, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Crystal, you just ordered groceries online and it's just me and hubby and no other family, so I don't go out anymore since I retired. Yeah. Okay, let's do our next little bulb here. Let me pull out so you can see see this. Isn't that cool? Okay. Now I'm going to switch it up and start this one with a light brown. Oh, Missy, you do the grocery shopping for you and your sister unless you forget something. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm not going into grocery stores anymore with all this garbage with the self-checkout and the lines and everything else. The way people are in society and the fact that the economy isn't the best from the standpoint of stuff being very expensive. I don't know what they were thinking when they said, oh, let's save money by doing self-checkout and let's depend on the fact that people won't steal. Well, look what's happened. It put people out of jobs. Stealing is up. Things are locked away now in stores. And because the stores have cut back on personnel, it's impossible to get people to come and help you when you want to get stuff out of a case. It's bizarre. Yeah, stealing and mob stealing. Yeah. Stores in San Francisco and California are, I think, San Francisco and Philadelphia, I think it was. Stores are pulling out of neighborhoods because of all the stealing. How is it not cheaper to have people run the cash registers? I don't get that. Stores are losing billions. Ah, well. So I'm perfectly satisfied to shop online, get my groceries. Walmart was running a special before Christmas that you could put in an order, express delivery, and they'd have it to you within like 2 hours. So I did. It was free, and they did. I was really happy. Okay, check out this brown base now. And now I'm going to come in with some orange. And I'm going to do the orange on the spots. And I'm going to use a little bit, very lightly, of a blender pencil. Well, there's nothing like picking out your own meats, I agree, and vegetables. I have degrees in cooking, so that's why you go look at the way the meat is cut. Yeah. Okay, so check out the orange tint to this. Now again, I have no idea what these little beasties are. And then I'm going to come in and put some red in this. Now, I'm not being capricious at all. I'm using colors that are going to work together. Our brown, our orange, and our red. So anyway, my goal with this broadcast is to present a time that you guys can come in, relax, enjoy a little bit of conversation, some pretty pictures, share ideas, learn things, and to be company. All right, check out how I am working this. See how I'm curving this color? And then of course I'm blending that line. Okay, last bulb, I'm going to go with a reddish brown. I'm going to soften this line. And then I'm going to come in with my orange. I'm going to soften that line a little more, blending. These bulbs remind me a little space, like space aliens. See? Okay, not too much more to go on this, but I do want to finish it. And I'm going to use a little bit of a darker orange. We'll get a little bit of that shading underneath here and on the edge. Okay. Two more sections, and then we can wrap this up. Okay. Now, our white on these bulbs is a little bit bright. It like slaps you in the face. So I'm going to use Faber-Castell 103. And I'm going to dull down that color just a little bit. It's an ivory. And notice when I'm doing this, I'm coloring over the edges of my color that's right next to that spot, and that's bringing in that color a little bit. So I'm using the ivory to both blend and go over my white area. And we're just knocking this down a little bit. And again, if you have any questions, please speak up. Okay, leaves. pulling in a darker green. Which you can't see because I'm off camera. Notice how I'm blending this color out. What does that mean? It fades into the next color. And we'll use a little bit of a finger blend. Take your time. All right. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. Isn't that pretty how that just softly blends out? And then I'm using my lighter green to carry that blend out further. Okay, now this next leaf is kind of covered weird. So our line is somewhere down the middle of the stem, which means when I bring out my green on this side, I'm not going to quite bring it out as far as I did on that other leaf. You'll see what I mean in a second. And you need to think about things like this. So here's my darker green. And then here's my lighter green to blend that edge. Okay. Finger blend. All right, now on my other side, our green's going to come out further, right? Check it out. Finger blend. And notice how I'm curving down this darker green as I get to the left. See how that splay of color is getting shorter and shorter. Okay. Last leaf. Same type of idea. We have a shortened side. And you can get really creative with the way that you do this. These are the types of... Good night, Linda. All right, so you can see how I've shortened that darker color. And then I'm going to turn this. It'll make it easier for me. boy, you'd think I was pulling her fur. That's Domino. She wants up on my table. And then, of course, I need to even out the screen. Sometimes you'll get a little spot like that. Might be something in the paper. You just need to incorporate it as best you can. All right. All right, let me pull out. The last thing we need to do is this hat, and then we are done. Let me grab some water. Yeah, you can use a blender pencil over it. You just got to be careful that you don't tear up your paper. I'm actually using a little ivory over it, Faber-Castell 103. There we go, and that's pulled out that rough spot. Gone. Okay, hat, and then we're done. All right. Medium green. To start my shading. Now, my shading is what defines for example, my folds in my cap. And notice that I'm carrying my shading, my pencil lines a little further. And also notice that as I am coloring in these edges here, that is also defining the lighter areas of my cap, which tend to be towards the center. See this area right in here? Right in here. This is why I define this as shading, because my shading is showing where my light spaces are, or areas, on my cap. This is a medium green. It happens to be a castle art. My light green is the green that I put down as my base color when I first did my cap. Now, coloring this cap is along the lines of coloring flesh, where we have our light, medium, and dark flesh. Oh, Brittany, you're beyond mad. The Caran d'Ache no longer sells the blender pencil without the wood case in a 2-pack, and instead sells one without a wood case and the other with a wood case in a 2-pack. Now check out the edging here that I'm putting on, or the shading. I'll blend that with my finger. Little bit of edging right here. To give it our dimension. And again, finger blend. And then I'm going to come in with my darkest green. And that's not the green that I want to use. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. All right. We'll change this up. And now we're going to edge this and blend it in. And this is where your blending is going to be really important. Remember, no lines. And I've got a little bit of pencil on my black, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now notice how our edging is giving us more dimension on our overall cap. And I also want you to notice that I'm using a green. It's a bluish green. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I've got this blue in this flower. So the blue is coming out in my edging here. And giving us a really neat color combination. And then I'm using it to very narrow edging around the top of my cap here. We just want a hint of that color on the line and not on the image itself. And then back into my cap as I get into the wider portion. Check it out. And we're just going to bring that bluish green around that flower, the purple flower and our blue flower. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that out into my fold as well. So in other words, when the fold happens in the cap, it brings out the blue tints in it. Any questions? I am very close to this being done. Love it. Okay, I'll pull out in a second. A little bit of my lighter green here around my curve. A little bit of my lighter green on the high part of my cap. And also in the center, and using it for blending. Okay. I'm calling this one done. I think we're in pretty good shape. The only other adjustment that I'm making is to add a little bit more of my flesh color. Around my edges. I want to give my face a little more richness here. So we need to shadow this up a little more. Crystal, you like that? This whole piece? I think it turned out quite well. I'm just shading up my skin a little more. Oh, Crystal, thank you. All right. Let's get a little more color around the jawline. Hey, Sandy. Sandy, I'm just about to start up a new project. And then a little bit more on our arm. Faber-Castell 103 to blend our line on our skin. And then a little bit blending with my 103. Okay guys, I am calling this one done. Got a little bit of a dark spot there. We'll get rid of that. Any questions? Oh, one last here. Let's go ahead and get that blush back on her. Our pretty blush disappeared. And that happens, you know, when you redo skin. We'll soften the edges to make it look more natural. All right, we're good to go. Calling this one done. Any questions on this piece? I think it turned out quite well. All right. Sandy, how's it going with you? Okay, new piece, Anime Coloring Book by Jade Summer. Alcohol marker I'm going to be using. This is the book. I'm going to adjust camera. There we go. There, now you can see the whole thing. Oh, you may have this, Crystal? That'd be great. Okay, so we finished our gnome lady and we finished our parrot. New duet tomorrow. Okay. Alcohol marker. So I'm going to put some paper underneath it here. Crystal, that would be great if you had this book. Okay, so we have some, I think they're called epaulets on our gentleman. So I'm going to come in with a nice blue to start up on his uniform. Oh, markers shouldn't scare you. They're fun. All right. So the big thing with markers, go on. Come on, make up your mind. The big thing with markers is you just need to be aware of how porous your paper is. And what that means is when you put your marker down, it's going to spread a little bit. And that spread is going to depend on the makeup of your paper. And I just wiped out a narrow line, but that's okay, it happens. Now, once you figure out your spread on your marker, that tells you how close to the edge you can get without it bleeding into your next area. It's not rocket science. All right, now I'm going to turn this upside down because it's a little easier for me. And you can get into some pretty narrow areas like I just did in between these little thingies. Just a very light touch. Crystal, what is it about markers that scare you? And then the next thing is to be consistent with your lines. So you get a nice uniform coverage. And then give your markers a chance to dry. So you can see how uniform it is. Now, if you have streaking, that's where you take a pencil that is a similar color, blending the streaks out, and then all of a sudden the paper is too wet and ruined. Okay. I'm going to show you how to fix that. All you need to do is take a colored pencil that is similar to the color that you just put on, and work over your streaks. I'm barely touching the paper, but I'm getting rid of my streaks. And the color is still phenomenal. Okay. Now, Crystal, the larger your area, yeah, see how that's coming through on the back? The larger the area, the more prone to streaks. And trust me, that issue is the bane of everybody that uses markers. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Payne's Gray, and I'm going to shadow and shade around the edges. Check it out. And this is where we get our dimension and detail. Vicki. She's getting restless because she knows that my broadcast is ending in a little bit. Check out how cool this is looking with this darker edge that I'm blending in. I could have used a darker blue, but I love my Payne's Gray. Now, see this little arm fold? We'll color that in as well. Well, Crystal, I don't know how long you've been using markers. You said you didn't think of it about putting pencil on it. If you don't know, you just don't know. But see, that's why you're a member of my group. And then I'm going to take my Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to come in a little bit further with it, very, very lightly. I'm tinting it in. And what I want you to notice is it's creating a lighter spot on his jacket. Isn't that cool? All right, let me pull out so you can see this. Whoop. Look how rich that looks. Now, I kind of hate to start this right now because we only have 10 more minutes. But I'm going to pull a turquoise blue. And I'm going to start to color her underskirt here. Her ruffles, basically. Oh, Crystal, I'm glad to hear that you're going to try it. Now look, when you try them for the first time, don't get discouraged. Play with it. Now, these are smaller areas to color than his jacket. So you'll notice that the streaking problem basically goes away. And if I hold still, you'll see that. The whole idea, Crystal, with markers, see how I am making a continuous stroke with this? You need to do that as much as possible. See how that works? When you do more than one pass with marker, that darkens the area. So that's the other thing that you need to keep in mind. Let me pull out just a little bit. Is you want to do a continuous one stroke pass. Oops. Went a little too far on that. Dang. Is this helping you? Nice, smooth, even strokes. One pass. My marker fear is melting away. Good. Again, one pass over my areas. So the two things you need to keep in mind is the spread of your marker, which is paper dependent, and that tells you how far away from the line to stay. And tip number 2, is nice even strokes. I'm barely touching the paper here. Avoid your overlap as much as possible. Now, the reason the people like Cali art is because this is the markers that I have. It is a higher quality marker. The colors are good, and they don't tend to streak. Now, the other thing too is when you're doing this, give your marker a chance to dry before you decide if you have any streaks or not. What some people do, because when they're wet, they go on, of course, a little darker, just a little bit. But when they dry, that's going to let you see where any potential problem areas are. Okay, now I got to really pay attention here as to what's what. Yeah, there we go. Guys, hang in with me because I'm in a critical area on this. And I just want to make sure I don't color the wrong thing blue. The other thing, Crystal, is that you don't want to linger long on a spot. There's absolutely no need to do that. The marker flow is very good. Oh, is this beautiful? Guys, I may extend my broadcast a little bit. So if you need to pop out, that's fine. Although, Crystal, you need to go, don't you? Okay, Crystal, let me finish up this one little spot. I know it's late for you. How beautiful is this? I think there's yeah, I got to figure out what's what, so I will stop there. You made it to midnight. Okay, guys, check it out. Isn't that beautiful? Crystal, I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see. See how smooth that is? And you're going to see it more on the screen than I'm seeing it in actual view here. But you can see that that's pretty uniform. You'll get there. It's easy. It's just learning how to handle your markers. Okay, guys, I'm calling it an evening. And if I did have any areas that were a little uneven, Crystal, I would go ahead and get a matching pencil and then just fill that in. Okay, guys, so here's our piece from Anime Coloring Book that I'm starting on. And this is the gnome lady that I finished. So I'll spray that with Krylon and initial it. And then we also finished our parrot. Guys, give Zentangle a shot. It's fun stuff. Okay, guys, this is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, it's joyous coloring. Thank you so much for joining me. I would be doing these broadcasts regardless of an audience or not, but it's more fun with people. I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Crystal now has a renewed confidence with markers. Yay. And that's great. Guys, love on each other. That's what our group is known for. Have a great rest of the evening. See you tomorrow night. Take care. God bless. Bye.